What do you think of this? No.
Yeah, everyone's been doing weird surveys and not actually interviews with anyone, so I don't know how they're going to use that. But
they had like 4 questions.
We had 7, so we'll try and remember as many as we can. All right.
Joseph took them.
Went to Plano, that's what they think.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because that's one of the things that we were wanting to look at is why are teenagers that live in this area doing those sorts of things? You know, why do you think that teenagers at the time were doing those sorts of things? What do you think had made them want to do that? Do you know what I mean?
At that time?
Yeah, at that time.
I'm not incredibly informed about that time, but honestly, I think part of it is a case of reporting. Plano, especially in the early 90s, was the yuppie type place to be. It was mostly white, very upper middle class, kind of the way Frisco's getting now.
Yeah.
Frisco's really the new place to go, whereas Plano's more of just a suburb, kind of like Richardson.
Right.
Like it was the height of Plano. And when a rich, mostly white suburb has drug problems, you hear about it. When a poorer, mixed suburb has drug problems, everyone says, oh, well, that's just the way things are. So I don't really think there is a huge difference statistically. What I think is it's phenomenal. Like it's news. It's something people like to talk about.
Yeah, it's more interesting here than it is there.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay, what's the other question I had? Do you remember?
Oh, it was, why do you think kids in the suburbs tend to be more angry than kids in other places, or?
More angry than kids in other places.
Or have more angst, or want to rebel more. We have the opinion that if you're in a upper middle class area, so you have money, it's Plano, it's a suburb, so it's not a city, so you don't have a whole lot to do. Is that why kids maybe turn to more dangerous things?
That and also reputation. When I talk, and when I was in high school and I would talk to people that went to other schools, they always had this opinion of me. Like going in, they had this opinion of who I was based on where I came from.
Okay.
And I felt, and I'm pretty sure looking back, that I, because of some peer pressure there, would do more risky things and be a little tougher and rebel to disprove that opinion.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. It's probably some of it. Try to remember all of our questions. Oh my gosh. I mean, we got good stuff already.
We do.
This is helpful.
Do you think that suburban life has any impact on the children of today as opposed to like city life or small town life?
Definitely. When I moved out of Plano, I was not prepared for places that were not Plano. I've lived in smaller cities and I've lived in bigger cities, and just living somewhere else has been huge. I always want to say to my students, like, just wait till you leave Plano, because you're going to see so many different things and see things differently. And not better or worse, but Plano is kind of, we called it, I don't know if you guys still do, we called it the bubble.
Yeah.
Plano bubble, yeah.
We still do.
It's a bubble. It's very safe here. It's statistically one of the safest. Actually, I think 2 years ago it was rated the safest city for
in Forbes.
It's safe. It's fairly rich. Even the poor people in Plano aren't as bad as they are in Dallas. You have ideas. You hear things in school, but you don't really have pictures for them until you leave. And
that's a good
leaving
point.
Plano, I can't recommend it enough. I love Plano. I came back, clearly.
Right.
But leaving and getting an idea of other places is a great idea.
Yeah, I definitely agree that's important. Do you think, though, that brings up a good point, do you think that being in this bubble for so long has an effect on the activities that people might engage in when they get out of the suburbs? Like maybe if you're not as exposed to things, you might want to try them more. Maybe if you lived in the city and you knew the dangers of certain things, you wouldn't.
I can see
By
that.
things, I mean drugs.
I could see it being new and novel and trying to prove, like I did, that you're not. I wasn't doing drugs, but I, would curse more and would change the way I was dressing, things like that.
Right.
Like trying to prove that you're not a suburbanite.
Yeah.
Type thing. And I have, like, my freshman year of college, my roommate was a pastor's daughter from a tiny town in Nebraska. As soon as she got out, she was drinking, she pierced her nose, she started doing drugs as a reaction to getting out. So I
Yeah.
think some of it could just be trying to prove that you're not
That's true.
what people think you are.
Yeah, I think that might be something negative about living here for so long.
Yeah. Maybe just
Yeah.
kind of a big deal here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
I think we.
All right. I think we're good. Thank you so much.
No problem. I can't believe